My name's Juliet Kindersley, and we own this farm, my husband Peter and I, and we also run a family charity, which is really how I met Mark Einem.
I'm Mark Einem. I'm director of the Newbury Spring Festival and have been since 1999, amazingly. And I met Peter and Juliet pretty soon after I was appointed director of this festival to bring young musicians to compete and to celebrate what they can do into the countryside like this rather than being in the city. So I think I put to you and Peter, I said, look, would you be up for creating a piano competition, knowing that you love the piano as I do? And I said we could open it to all the students studying in the United Kingdom, as we know, from all over the world coming here. And I said to you, can we make it so that nobody has to pay for their travel, for their hotels, for their food? And you said almost immediately, yes. And that was in 2009. And since then, already having been sponsors of the festival, you set up with the festival as an association, the Sheepdrove Competition. And it's now in its 15th edition.
And it's been such an interesting way of talking to students, very few whom are English and have never been to farms.
No.
They've never seen a farm. And so they are really, I think, inspired by coming here. And I think every year this competition gets more famous, more talked about amongst students. You know, they say you must come to this farm.
The students, before all the public arrive, they get the pleasure of being here. And even though they're rehearsing and practicing, they also get a chance to look around and inspired by just being in this place. And as you said, the standard is just
is extraordinary.
So this is my first time in Sheepdrove. I heard about this competition from my teacher, and I think it's such an amazing opportunity for pianists to perform, because it's always very different when you're under pressure in performance setting, and especially having a competition like this where you have the opportunity to share what you've learned, your journey of music and everything that you've been working towards with an audience. It's amazing.
It's a very nice hall. It's very bright. There were a lot of very loud cackling birds, and at one glorious moment in the Liszt Sonata, they all sort of culminated in a great cry arose in the silence in between these cataclysmic chords, and it was quite atmospheric, I thought, the timing. It's always interesting when these things in the environment appear to interact with the music that you're playing.
My name is David Welton, and for 29 years I was the managing director of the Philharmonia Orchestra in London. And in the course of that very long time, we had a long association with the Newbury Spring Festival, one of the most important festivals in the UK. Today we've had a very, very interesting morning, and rather like last year, the jury always reflects on how every year that goes by, we see better and better candidates. This is completely reassuring, rewarding, and inspiring in so many ways, because when you sit and listen to this marvelous music making, you realize just how much work these young people have put into training to be musicians, learning musicianship, studying around the world, so that they're in a position to interpret these great masterpieces at the highest possible level. Here in Newbury, we have a very wide range of nationalities coming to take part in the competition. And this, for me, is always wonderful, because great classical performance, great classical music, is a universal language. And everybody adopts this language as part of their own culture. And what we have here in Newbury at the competition this year is yet another opportunity to support, enhance the work of these young people and position them so they can really realize their potential in the years ahead.
Hello, my name is Dinara Clinton. I was born in Ukraine, studied in Moscow and then in London at the Royal College of Music. I've been in the UK for nearly 11 years now, and I played in this very hall about 10 years ago on the Sheepdrove Intercollegiate competition, where I was lucky to win the first prize. And here I am as a jury member. I think it's a wonderful competition. It actually opened up quite a few roads for me, including performing on the Newbury Festival. I came back about 2 years after the competition to play with the Philharmonic Orchestra, Rachmaninoff's third concerto. So it really opened up quite a few routes for me. And yeah, I'm just lucky to be here and as a jury member now.
The festival was started, as you remember, by a lovely Jeannie.
Yes, yes.
Jeannie, who sadly died a few years ago. She was the married to the 8th Earl Carnarvon, Lord, the Queen's racing manager. Porchy, as the Queen used to call him.
Yes.
And Jeannie founded the festival
Yes, yes.
in order to bring international best to Newbury. And she sort of was this sort of inspiration. And of course, where they live is now world famous Downton Abbey. So we always do events there. But you know, that's just one of many venues. But that was Jeannie's vision to have bring the best that we can, and it's all funded by people like you, charitable trusts, generous individuals, and now, thank God, we've got Viking, and Viking have grown into this new role for the festival, having been introduced to us thanks to the current Lady Carnarvon, Fiona. Karina Hagen is a great friend of hers, and we met, and out of that, Fiona sort of encouraged her to get involved with the festival at Highclere. And then this year, Viking is supporting us on a much larger remit, and bringing guests to a dozen or so events, and we're having this wonderful now symbiotic relationship with Viking. And that's all again grown out of Highclere Castle. So it's a great connection.
Yes.
How incredibly impressed we are with you. This is, I can genuinely tell you, it's been the hardest. you probably hear this all the time, but I'm speaking truthfully. This has been the hardest decision. It's like if you've got Barenboim, Argerich, Pletnev, how do you choose? I mean, you can't. So it's a celebration of all of you, and unfortunately we're going to have to say goodbye to 8 candidates because there's only 4 people in the final. So now it's time for me to give you the 4 finalists who got slightly higher marks than the rest of you, but seriously, this is within a tiny amount, so I don't want anyone to leave here thinking they've lost. The problem with competitions is that people sometimes think, oh, I didn't win. No, you're all winners. You're all winners. I really, really mean it. So the 4 finalists in order of appearance, but not in order of marks, but the 4 finalists who will stay on are Michal Kapluki, Kasparas Mikouzis, Yuxan Zhao, and Emmanuel Ivanov.
So I'm Ashley Morris, I'm the General Manager of the festival. So we work very much alongside. Mark deals with a lot of the artistic side of things, and then I deal with the more practical nuts and bolts.
And then between us, and with the support of the festival board, we make sure that we can pay for it.
Yes. Yes.
And that's a big, big job to do with nurturing and developing a lot of mainly private sponsors. In fact, Viking is probably the only corporate sponsor, but Viking feels like a family, actually. Don't we think?
We do, absolutely. They're very much working alongside us, which is refreshing.
And it's a family-run business, and Karina is fantastic, and all the Viking people we've met, and I'm not just saying because it's Viking.TV, it doesn't feel like a great big business. It feels like another private sponsor, a family. But we depend on our individual supporters, and between us we do a lot with that as well.
Yeah, and that ranges in size, doesn't it? From those who give a small amount every month, there are some who pay just a small amount annually, and there are those people who can afford to make much grander gestures, and they're all equally important and all take a lot of our care and attention, and that's why we work with them to keep them.
Exactly.
We need that.
Exactly. Classical music, from symphony orchestras to choral events to chamber music, big emphasis on young artists. This is something I'm really proud of, that over the years we've not only got our regular lunchtime series of young musician concerts, which, as Ashley said, we also include the schools for free, but wherever I can, I place young stars into the main programme. In the past, some of the winners of this competition have moved on to great fame, and indeed, on a couple of occasions, I brought them back with major symphony orchestras to do piano concertos. So I like the fact that the festival has got this sort of nurturing of young talent. The first prize of £3,000, the Kindersley Prize, is presented by Juliet Kindersley and goes to Emmanuel Ivanov.
First of all, it's a very, very pleasant experience for all the participants, because it's, first of all, it's a very concise, very neatly organized competition. All the travel expenses you might have are covered. There's no entrance fee, which usually is the case with competitions. and you just feel taken care of, basically. And to add to this is the location, which is the Sheepdrove Organic Farm, which is an absolutely marvelous place, and sort of the location which really inspires you, at least inspires me when I play.
The industry is evolving, of course, as it always is. And it's exciting. It is exciting to see where we go in the coming years. You know, some people would say that classical music is a dying tradition, but I disagree entirely. I think it's flourishing perhaps more than it ever has.
There's potentially a perception that we have to fight to keep classical music alive, but the proof is in the pudding. I mean, it's been here for so long, and I teach a lot of young musicians at St Mary's Music School, which is a specialist music school in Edinburgh, and they show no sign of losing interest in this style of music. So I think there's real hope, and yeah, I mean, it's great stuff. I think there's definitely a future for it.
My life was really changed as a child, listening to live music.
Yeah.
And I feel that all children should have the experience of listening to wonderful live music.
Yes.